On March 16, 1984, a joint law enforcement coalition, including the FBI and the DEA, executed a search warrant at 5 Logan Drive in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, to a home belonging to Rosario Gambino. This warrant was the result of the Pizza Connection investigation. Inside Gambino's house, many items and evidence was discovered, but chief among them was 36 confidential NYPD intelligence documents. Naturally, an investigation into how Gambino came to possess these documents soon followed. The documents in question were traced back to the NYPD's Intelligence Division, and copies were made on the 62nd Precinct's copy machine. Further analysis revealed that fingerprints belonging to Detective Louis Eppolito were on the documents. NYPD Internal Affairs investigators interviewed a Detective Sweeney from the Intelligence Division. According to Sweeney, he gave the documents to Eppolito because Eppolito requested them. During an interrogation of Eppolito, he gave the following: that his supervisors had authorized him to access and copy certain reports related to Gambino family investigations. However, Eppolito's supervisors denied giving him permission to make such a request. The Intelligence Division's sign-in logs showed that Eppolito had visited the division once in the previous 2 years. The fingerprints, which, by the way, Eppolito claimed his prints were on the documents because he handled them, but that he didn't give them to Gambino. The problem with that is a copy machine doesn't capture prints when making copies. Eppolito did handle them, and the documents found in Gambino's house had no other known law enforcement employees' fingerprints found on them. Based on the evidence, Internal Affairs did not send the case to prosecutors, but conversely, they handled it internally, which they deemed as a departmental misconduct case. And charges were filed against Eppolito for leaking confidential intelligence reports. He was also suspended without pay on November 27, 1984. The Department Advocate's Office, which prosecutes internal NYPD discipline cases, began preparing a case for a departmental trial. That disciplinary hearing took place on April 4, 1985. Deputy Trial Commissioner U.H. Moe presided over the hearing and concluded that there was insufficient proof that Eppolito leaked the documents. He accepted Eppolito's explanation that his fingerprints might have been transferred innocently. Commissioner Moe recommended that Eppolito be found not guilty, reinstated to duty, and reimbursed for lost pay. The police commissioner at the time, Benjamin Ward, approved this recommendation on April 11, 1985. Following his reinstatement, Eppolito was promoted to detective second grade. By allowing Eppolito to resume his duties, despite the serious allegations, and more significantly, the evidence, in hindsight, became a blatant example of missed opportunity to stop a corrupt detective before he committed even worse crimes. In essence, Eppolito's career trajectory took an extremely dark turn. He continued to work in the Detective Bureau, including units that dealt with organized crime, which gave him access to sensitive information regarding mafia investigations. His partner in crime, no pun intended, Stephen Caracappa, worked in the Special Crime Division, a division that handled high-profile cases and sensitive investigations, including ones related to organized crime. From 1986 to 1990, Eppolito and Caracappa were on the payroll of Lucchese underboss Anthony Gaspipe Casso. The crooked detectives provided him with confidential information in return for large sums of money. The following are murders where the detectives either provided information or carried out personally: James Heidel, Nicholas Guido, John Otto Heidel, Anthony Delapi, Bruno Facciolo, Eddie Lino, Bobby Borriello, and Israel Greenwald. Out of the 8, it's believed they personally carried out 2, Israel Greenwald and Eddie Lino. And as mentioned, Nicholas Guido was a mistaken identity murder. According to federal trial evidence, Gaspipe paid the detectives between $375,000 to $400,000 over the course of 4 years. Initially, the detectives were on retainer for $4,000 a month. Gaspipe began cooperating in 1994 and entered a cooperation agreement with the government on March 1, 1994. During his debriefings, Gaspipe told agents that he used 2 New York City police detectives to carry out various crimes. Initially, the agents were skeptical about Castro's disclosure, which was met with disbelief. One of the statements Castro told the agents was, "I had law enforcement on my payroll. Certainly I had them looking after me." But even with Castro admitting he had two NYPD detectives in his back pocket, the agents didn't immediately act on those allegations. Gaspipe was known to manipulate as well as lie, so they needed cooperation. Enter former Lucchese associate Burt Kaplan, who told the FBI that the detectives provided various services to him and he acted as an intermediary to his close friend Gaspipe. Kaplan became a key government witness at Eppolito and Caracapa's trial, offering such statements like, after Eddie Lino's murder, Eppolito allegedly told him, "I got good news, we killed him." The detectives were convicted on April 6, 2006 for racketeering, murder, attempted murder, among other charges, and both received life sentences on March 6, 2009. Deputy Commissioner Moe's acquittal decision in Eppolito's trial with the department's advocate's office was pivotal, to say the least. For starters, the hearing was conducted in a very unusual manner. For instance, instead of actual testimony, Deputy Commissioner Moe only considered stipulated facts. When Eppolito was ultimately acquitted and reinstated, it would only be almost a year later when the murder of James Heidel was carried out. The detectives staged a fake arrest of Heidel and delivered him with a bow to Gaspipe. Heidel was part of a hit team that was sent to kill Gaspipe, but only wind up wounding him. Gaspipe was hell-bent on not only finding out who was behind the attempt, but on getting revenge, which ultimately he did get. It seems apparent that the police department wanted to avoid bad press, so they put the Eppolito matter of corruption to rest by acquitting him of any wrongdoing. Had the police department and those in authoritative positions handled the charges brought against Eppolito correctly, he would have no longer carried a badge, let alone be rewarded with a promotion of detective second grade. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me to continue making them, you can donate with the Super Thanks icon down below, or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sit Down News, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. The site can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. Granted, some of the victims were members of organized crime, and others were associates and criminals. But let's not forget Nicholas Guido, who was an innocent victim. Nonetheless, none of those murders would have taken place, or the confidential information provided to promote the murders would have happened if the police department would have done their due diligence. Fighting crime doesn't always apply to criminals. It can also come from crooked cops, as this case has demonstrated.